Medyo na-intriga kasi ako talaga. Nagsimula 'to siguro last month, nung, nakausap po natin, nakapanayan po natin ang, Consul General ng, ating Consul General po ng Indonesia na nakabase sa Davao, si, Dicky Fabrian. Nalaman ko po na parang may kakulangan pa sa ating pagkipagkalakalan, sa ating trade po sa ating mga kasama, mga kapwa kasama sa BIMP-EAGA. Yan po ulit ay ang Brunei, Indonesia, Brunei Darussalam, Indonesia, Malaysia at Pilipinas. O, tayo po, ang apat po, Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia at Pilipinas. Tayo po ay kasama sa tinatawag nilang sub-region. Yan po ay ang Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, East ASEAN Growth Area. Itong sub-region po na ito ay binubuo ng kabuuan ng Brunei at parte po ng Malaysia, parte ng Indonesia at parte po ng Pilipinas. Sa Pilipinas po, yung parting yun ay yung Palawan at yung Mindanao. Ang mga parting yan, ang Palawan at Mindanao, ayan po ay malapit sa focus areas o parte ng Indonesia na malapit sa bahagi sa BIMP-EAGA at sa parte rin ng Malaysia na bahagi sa BIMP-EAGA. Kaya tayo ho yung mga magkakasama. Now, importante ho na balikan ho natin itong ating pagkalakalan po, no? Alam nyo, bago pa man dumating yung mga Kastila, ito, ginugunita ho natin, nagbabalik tanaw nga ho tayo sa pagdating ng mga Kastila 500 years ago. Pero yung ating mga relasyon sa ating mga kapatid ho sa Brunei, sa Indonesia at sa Malaysia, although hindi pa sila tinatawag na Brunei, Indonesia at Malaysia noon, naku, iilang siglo na ho, matagal na, bago pa ba dumating ang mga Kastila, bago pa ba nagkaroon tayo ng tinatawag nilang written history, nakikipagkalakalan na ho sila at may ebidensya dyan sa arkeolohiya po, no? So, we should go back at alam nyo minsan, parang ano yan parang sa buhay, di ba? Yung nasa tabi ho natin, minsan nakakalimutan ho natin. Yung mga nasa malayo, yun ang tinatanaw ho natin. Kaya lang, nandito ho ang ating mga kapitbahay po. Mga nalalapit ho sa ating bansa. At may potensyal ho sila. Itong Brunei, masasabi nyo, naku, maliit lang naman yan. Ano ba naman ang market dyan? Kaya lang po, pakinggan niyo po ang panayam ho natin kay Ambassador Christopher Montero po ng Brunei po. Ang sinasabi po niya, oo, bagamat maliit nga talaga, aminado siyang maliit talaga ang Brunei. At kung sa dami lang ng tao, sa laki ng market, hindi ho ganun kalaki. Kaya lang sinasabi ho niya na malaki ang potensyal pa rin ng pagkipagkalakalan sa Brunei dahil ito, ang pagkipagkalakalan sa Brunei, magbubukas ho sa atin ng potensyal na magipagkalakalan sa napakalaking halal market. Okay, dito ho tayo sa Southeast Asia, no? Tayo lang ho yung tayo lang ho yung Kristiyanong bansa. Pero nakapalibot po sa atin mga Muslim ho 'yan. So ibig sabihin po, that's the halal market na siguro may opportunities mo para sa atin ho 'yan. Kung talagang pagtuon lang ho natin ng pansin, ng panahon at pansin. At sinasabi ho dito sa interview ho na to ni Ambassador Christopher Montero na marami ho ang pwedeng gawin. So pakinggan po natin itong panayam ho natin sa kanya at makita ho natin, no, unti-unti na may potential pala na magkaroon ng pinaigting na trade relationships with our nearby neighbors po. In this case, Brunei po. So nakausap na natin yung Indonesia. Ito naman ngayon ang Brunei ho. Sa patuloy po natin pagtingin po sa mga BIMP-EAGA neighboring countries po natin. Ito ngayon ang ating interview kay Philippine Ambassador to Brunei, Christopher Montero. What are the opportunities for Filipino businesses from the focus areas of BIMP-EAGA, Mindanao and Palawan, for us, for Filipino businesses in Brunei Darussalam? What products and services are needed there? And ano po yung pwede ho nating ibigay, ibahagi, i-export ho sa inyo sa Brunei?
Brunei is a prosperous and wealthy country, no? With one of the highest gross per capita income in the world. They have substantial amounts of disposable income for consumer goods, including luxury items and products. No? Secondly, Brunei is a Muslim country, no, that requires halal certified products before they are allowed entry into the country. No? For a non-Muslim country like the Philippines, complying with the halal certification process can be seen as hampering the free flow of goods, no? As the Philippine halal industry is not yet as developed to meet the strict and stringent requirements of the Brunei market, no? The certification process also adds up to the cost of production for our exporters, no? But then again, the nascent Philippine halal industry can leverage Brunei's globally accredited halal certification system, learn from its best practices, and enhance our technical capacity to manufacture halal certified products, not only for Brunei, but as a springboard, no, to sell halal products to the 1.9 trillion US dollar global halal market, no? Nonetheless, at present, we have several Philippine brands that are being sold in mainstream retail outlets in Brunei, and these include food products, no, such as fresh and canned pineapples, bananas as well, mostly from Dole, in Mindanao. Also corned beef, sardines, and tuna, and you would believe, including as well dato puti, no? Processed food products like crackers, biscuits, and chips, and ice cream. And we also have cosmetic products, dishwashing liquid, just to name a few, no? And I have spoken with many Bruneian businessmen, particularly importers and distributors, and they have expressed interest in sourcing more agricultural products like rice, fresh fruits such as mango, durian, pomelo, and vegetables like chile, no? There is also an opportunity to sell our gourmet jams, no, marmalades, muscovado sugar, as well as coffee, no. And then also, of course, they also express interest in our fisheries products, such as you said a while ago, tuna and other seafood products. No, these have a very good potential to sell in Brunei. And aside from this, there is also interest in higher value niche products such as artisanal and organic food items that are currently being sourced from Australia, the UK, and the United States, no? And aside from this, as you mentioned a while ago, there is a demand for footwear, including complementary products such as apparel and fashion accessories, no? Brunei's construction industry is also a vibrant sector, no, which offers opportunities to sell construction materials, no, interior decors, tiles, household accessories, as well as furnitures, no. And talking about the services sector, there is a growing demand for supplying business solutions for the IT and telecommunication sector, which Philippine companies can provide, no. In fact, the largest telecommunications company of Brunei, it's called the DST, signed a strategic partnership with a Philippine IT company last year, no, to provide a wide range of cost-effective business solutions in order to address the needs of its corporate clients, no. There is also an opportunity for Philippine consultancy firms, no, to forge partnerships and joint ventures with the Bruneian MSMEs to supply professional and technical expertise in order to streamline their business processes, no, and make them more competitive. In the area of halal services, no, for example, Philippine companies can enter into joint ventures with Bruneian businesses in halal certification, in media marketing, brand advertising, industrial packaging, design, logistics, e-commerce, and even financial services. There are so many opportunities in this area, no? And there's this one area which we can also tap for possible partnerships with Brunei, and this is in Islamic financing and banking services, no? Just a few days ago, Brunei was ranked 11th in terms of over overall development of Islamic finance industry out of 135 countries. No, the embassy is closely monitoring this as a possible area for future cooperation. No? Particularly now that the Philippines has passed its Islamic banking law just last year. No? And we believe that it would benefit our communities in Mindanao, no? In terms of uplifting the financial situation of our Muslim brothers. No? Finally, just as an aside being, no? One of the interesting fact about our economic relations with Brunei, it is the only country aside from the Philippines that has the same #1 fast food chain, and that is Jollibee. No? Jollibee has 18 branches in Brunei, no, you would believe, and is planning to add 2 more branches. No? They have been here actually since 1987, and its success is not only due to the presence of a large Filipino community, but also because it is well loved, no, and has a significant and loyal following from the local Bruneians. No? So basically, it's a mainstream company, considered as a mainstream company here in Brunei. No?
Really very encouraging to note that there seem to be opportunities. Sige, I just want to zero in on a couple of them because the trade reports tend to show that there has been a dramatic spike over the last few years in the areas of tuna and footwear.
Brunei, as you know, is a net importing country, no, for consumer goods and food products. No? The spike in their imports of footwear and tuna from the Philippines stems from the fact that Brunei does not have a strong manufacturing sector. No? Since it is mostly dependent on the oil and gas sector. No? Alam niyo po yung oil and gas sector generates 60 to 70% of the national income of Brunei. They're very abundant with their oil and gas reserves. No? Prior to the pandemic, Bruneians would usually travel abroad or cross the land border to Malaysia, no, to buy consumer items. No? And because of the travel restrictions on non-essential travel that has been imposed since March 2020, no? Bruneians are forced to buy consumer items such as footwear locally, no? Whereas before they used to go abroad to buy these items, no? Most retail stores import these products, and we are glad that more Philippine-made footwear have found their way in the local market. Insofar as the importation of tuna is concerned, Brunei is currently in the process of developing its shrimp and prawn production industry. No? And I believe that tuna, including tuna flakes, is being imported, no, to feed shrimp and prawn farms in the country. No? So probably those are the two things that I can think of in terms of the spike, no, in the growth of our exports of footwear and tuna to Brunei.
Ano hong ginagawa ito sa area ho na ito upang, di ba, magkaroon ho tayo ng better connectivity between the Philippines and Brunei insofar as, you know, our shipping is concerned?
Well, connectivity is really an enormous challenge, no, in the BIMP-EAGA region. Alam nyo, centuries ago, no, connectivity is not a challenge for us because people would just, you know, in the region would just barter, no? They do barter trade. But now we have been closely engaging, no, with the Bruneian authorities, no, especially the entrepreneurs, those providing logistics services, no, to have more cargo vessels, no, ply the route from the Philippines or from Brunei to Malaysia, Indonesia, no, these island areas, no, island centers, no, in the region. And in fact, just to share with you, in a couple of years ago, before the pandemic, we have been closely coordinating with the Davao-based logistics company called Refor Filipinas. No, it has started establishing a route, no, cargo route from Davao going to the islands of Bintong, no, to Kota Kinabalu, and then to Brunei, and then going to Vietnam, and then coming back. And they can fly this route, no, in just a matter of 14 days. And in fact, they have been in discussions with the Bruneian authorities as well as businessmen. They have forged partnership agreements, no, to be able to supply, products from Mindanao specifically, especially bananas, and many other agricultural products, And I think the direction now, to establish more physical connectivity is gaining ground, And I hope that the government, can work together, or governments can work together in coming up with infrastructure projects, to ensure that the flow of trade, is ably supported by good connectivity in the region.
Mr. Ambassador, just going over the reports, there's obviously a glaring trade imbalance between the Philippines and Brunei. To what do you attribute this gap, and how can we address it?
Yes, being just again, just to give a clearer picture, our trade volume in 2019. For now, we don't have the complete trade figures yet for the year 2020. Our trade figures in 2019 amounted to more than 117 million US dollars. Our exports to Brunei was valued at just almost 5 million US dollars. With the rest, 112 million US dollars representing our imports. All in all, our trade deficit amounted to more than 107 million US dollars. And unfortunately, for the past years, this has been the trend in our trade relations. The balance of trade has always been in favor of Brunei. And I can cite three reasons for this trade imbalance. First, more than 90% of Brunei's export to the Philippines is comprised of petroleum gas, methanol, and liquefied natural gas. As I said a while ago, Brunei is a country that is endowed and blessed with an abundant supply of oil and gas, which is one of the major source of its national income, 65-70% of its gross national product, or GDP. Of course, our industries in the Philippines cannot avoid sourcing the oil and gas requirements for our country's economic growth and development. So I think we will continue to depend on Brunei as one of our suppliers for this product in the short and the medium term. Second, as I mentioned a while ago, Brunei is a small market, and Philippine companies usually look at the size of the market in making a decision where to sell their products. So in essence, it is a huge challenge to reverse this business mindset. And finally, as I have said, the entry of products to Brunei must comply with its stringent halal standards. And this presents an additional cost and operational burden to Philippine companies to really make significant inroads in penetrating the Brunei market.
We're not going to achieve it overnight, but at least how can we chip away at these obstacles or these barriers? And at the same time, what is being done already right now?
Yes, to be frank, I am speaking not as an entrepreneur or economic analyst, but as a diplomat. It would really be a tremendous challenge to address the trade imbalance in the short and the medium term, because for as long as Brunei has an abundant supply of oil and gas, the Philippines would have to rely on Brunei as one of its suppliers for this resource to drive the growth of our industries and our economy. Having said that, perhaps the best way to address the gap is to raise awareness, raise the awareness of Philippine exporters as what we are doing now, on the trade opportunities that are available in Brunei. And I have just mentioned the goods and services that have a good potential of gaining a foothold in the Bruneian market. No? And together with the Department of Trade and Industry, the private sector, I think we need to recalibrate, no, the way we look at the Bruneian market, not solely looking at it as a small market, but again, as I said, as a springboard, no, in penetrating the global halal market. We need to work closely with Brunei in enhancing the development of our the Philippine halal industry. At the same time, no, we need to intensify our market intelligence gathering efforts, no, to identify what high value products and services we can supply to Brunei. No? I have already mentioned some of this a while ago. But on the whole, I believe that within the framework of the BIMP-EAGA, there is a need for all stakeholders, be it in government, the private sector, local governments, and local communities, no, to be actively engaged in deepening economic cooperation in the region. Now, as to what is being done at present, no, firstly, within the BIMP-EAGA mechanism, no, the embassy has been actively engaging the Brunei Darussalam Business Council for the BIMP-EAGA in finding ways to intensify economic cooperation, no, between Brunei and the Philippines, particularly in Mindanao and in Palawan. No? I had a meeting with their new set of officers last month, no? And in fact, tomorrow I will be meeting with them again, no? As a follow-through to our previous discussions. And among the matters that we discussed was the interest of Bruneian businessmen in exploring the possibility of establishing, for example, production facilities for halal, no, compliant products and services, whether in Brunei, in other countries, in the Philippines, no, which it could export, no, to the larger international halal market. No? And I also encourage the Business Council, no, for them to look into the business opportunities presented by the Zamboanga Economic Zone, no? Particularly its halal center, no? Where I said Bruneian investors can set up, let's say, for example, a chicken processing plant, a slaughterhouse, and the processing of halal feed. No? And I informed them that the Zambo Ecozone is a 20,000 hectare export processing zone that could enable the establishment of farms and other halal compliant facilities by Bruneian investors. No? At the same time, the council members told me of their plans of looking for a location where, for example, they could establish a chili farm, no, that could also serve as a manufacturing facility for chili sauce. No? And aside from this, the embassy has been actively seeking out Bruneian importers and distributors, no, to identify other Philippine products that they can source from the Philippines. In fact, you know, one importer is now looking at importing Selecta ice cream, no, to the Bruneian market. No? We have already Magnolia ice cream here, which is also a favorite among Bruneians. No? And prior to the pandemic, Philippine companies have participated in various trade expositions in Brunei, including those that showcase halal products, no, yeah, as a platform to promote Philippine products. In the halal sector, the Philippines and Brunei signed in 2017 an MOU on halal industry and halal export development promotion. No? We already have had 2 working group meetings, although the next one had to be postponed due to the pandemic. No? And as part of the implementation of this MOU, the embassy and the DTI, no, organized a webinar last September, no, on establishing partnerships for stronger trade and investment in the halal sector between the Philippines and Brunei. Now we had almost about 300 participants, not only from Brunei and the Philippines, but around the world, who joined the webinar, which included the discussions on the halal value chain with the greater potential for joint ventures. No, these are just some of the initiatives that we are doing at present, and although progress is being hampered by the ongoing pandemic, no, we hope that it will set the right tone once the global situation of the pandemic has stabilized.
Diyan na po nagwawakas ang ating interview kay Christopher Montero. Siya po ang Philippine Ambassador to Brunei po.